Hi everyone, welcome back to Mr. Techie Talks. I am Surendra. Today we are going to dive into local development environment on Windows Mission. So before we get started, if you are new here, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and click the bell icon. So you can never miss any of our new classes. If you find today's session helpful, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps our channel grow and reach more people like you. Alright, let's jump into today's class. Today's class is how to set up local development environment on Windows. So in previous classes, how to set up Databricks on AWS Cloud. In this today's session, I am going to cover how to set up local development environment with using AWS CLI and Boot 3 on Windows Mission. It will work on Windows 10 and Windows 11 as well. So here we will take help from WSL. WSL stands for Windows Subsystem for Linux. So because if you want to apply AWS CLI commands, you can use command prompt as well as you can use PowerShell here. So instead of using here, so what I will take help from PowerShell. So there I will create Ubuntu by I will take Ubuntu by taking help from WSL, that is Windows Subsystem for Linux. So what I will do is we can directly set up AWS CLI commands and Boot 3 in Windows. So actually I feel little bit comfortable using WSL, and I will recommend to use WSL as it is have several advantages like you can use Windows 10 or Windows 11 as well. So I will open the PowerShell. So there I will use WSL. So how to use PowerShell here? So you can go to search. You can go to search. Just mention PowerShell. So you can go here and just click on this PowerShell. So PowerShell is open now. So in the processing of like setting up this required tools by using that PowerShell. So actually earlier days we use DOS prompt. So before going to Windows XP operating system, we had a DOS prompt. So no one uses now, I think. So now everyone uses PowerShell. So because it is PowerShell is advanced version of DOS prompt, and so PowerShell commands are same as like same in Windows 10 and 11. So we have some key features that we have. So those are like we can do SSH without using additional softwares. Like so, if you are a really software engineer, like you might know about Putty. So usually Putty is to do SSH. So, but we need to install third-party software Putty from browser, and you need to download and you need to install here. So no need to install anything. Just you can use PowerShell. So without installing any additional software, just you can do SSH. So this is the one of the powerful tool. So there is a PowerShell. So I'll tell you now how to set up Ubuntu on top of this Windows 11, 10 and 11 using WSL. Suppose I want to check WSL. How to check WSL? WSL stands for Windows Subsystem for Linux. I want to create I want to create Ubuntu virtual machine on Windows. If I want to create what I have to do, I will take help from WSL. So just I will mention WSL-V. You can get the version. You can get the version. So I have already installed WSL. So that's why it is showing this one. No, so sorry, WSL is no need to install. Just you can see the versions which is already there. So if you want to see the commands, you can take help from WSL hyphen help. You can see the options that we have. So what kind of options that are available. So what you can do is if you want to install Ubuntu Mission, I will prefer Ubuntu 20.04. So I will prefer the version Ubuntu 20.04. I want to see the list of software that can be installed or which are available. So there is a command. If you choose online, it will display a list of available distributions for install with wsl.exe install. So if I want to install Ubuntu, first I want to check. First I want to check the available distributions. What I will do is wsl hyphen hyphen l. Hyphen l means list we get. So here you can see the option list. Else you can see the you can mention list. Hyphen L or hyphen list. Both are fine. Now you can see online. Now you can see list of distributions which are available. This if you want to install Ubuntu. So I will recommend you to choose Ubuntu 20.04. So how to install this Ubuntu software? What I have to do is WSL install -d Ubuntu. Just I have copied, I have pasted here. Just I want to install this one. So in my mission, it is already installed. If it is not installed in your mission, if it is not installed in your mission, it will install and you can see the status. So it is already started, installed and it already went to that Ubuntu mission. Suppose whenever you create, right, first time, whenever you want to log in, it will ask us to create username and password. First time when you want to launch Ubuntu mission, it will ask us to create username and password. So our case, I have mentioned my name as username and password. Username is my name, password is also a my name. Surendra. So you can mention your name and you can mention the password which you remember usually. So now, so I will close this one. Virtual machine is created. So now I want to go again PowerShell. Else if you want to choose Ubuntu, you can just mention Ubuntu. Directly you can go to Ubuntu mission. Directly you can go to Ubuntu mission. If you want to go through PowerShell, you can go to PowerShell. If you want to jump into Ubuntu mission, how do we jump? WSL -d. If you want to go to Ubuntu from PowerShell, this is the way. Ubuntu -20-04. It will jump into your PowerShell. No, I don't want to go here. I want to go. You can go to search bar directly. You can go here. Ubuntu. Now you are. So you can apply CLI commands here. Suppose I want to check the list of files that we have. I want to do what I want to do. I want to check the present working directory where I am exactly. So currently I am in /home/user. You can use Linux commands here. So currently I am in Ubuntu now. So here I want to set up Python environment and I want to apply pip commands on Ubuntu. First, I have launched this Ubuntu now. So I want to check Python 3, whether it is installed or not. If it is installed, it will get like this. If it is not installed, what you can do is you can install. You can install. So I will come out. I want to create one virtual environment. How do I create? Python 3 -m virtual environment virtual environment in demo view 1. I have created one virtual environment using demo view 1. So what I will do is I will install some required config parser python 3 -m install config parser. So it is also installed already. So if you don't install, please install this one. Next we have, there is a few commands that we need to implement to install virtual environment. Sudo apt-get install python 3 virtual environment venv. So it is asking password of Surendra. So this password, whenever we launch the first time the Ubuntu, it will ask us to create username and password. So the same password which I have set up, so I have mentioned here. So this is done. Whenever you do use sudo user, I want to update this one. Whenever you use sudo, it will ask. It is done. Whenever you get some error, right? Whenever you get some error while creating this virtual environment, whenever you get some error when we are using virtual environment, what you have to do is you have to install first virtual environment, this one. Next, when you get the error here, I haven't faced any error because I have created already. I have applied these options already in my mission. So if you face any error in this step, what you have to do? You have to go here, apply this step, and you have to update this one. And next, you can try again. Again, you can try sudo. So you might get error in this step, I think. So whenever you get the error here, what you have to do is you have to just update. After updating, you just mention same command again. So in below, I have mentioned same command. Yeah, it is done. Let's go to sudo get install python 3 pip. So it is installed. So I want to create a environment in specific folder. I want to choose one folder, that is currently where python 3 -m environment. So virtual environment is created. Virtual environment is created. What I will do is ls-lpr. I want to check the folders. So here one environment is created with demo-view1. What I will do is rm-rf demo. Next we have pip install config parser. Just we need to mention list of softwares that are required to create this one. So next what you can do is you can virtual environment is created now. So clear, sorry, virtual environment is created here. What you have to do is our agenda is to create AWS CLI commands and we need to use Booto 3. That is our agenda. So before setting the connection using AWS CLI, what we have done is we have created virtual environment using Python in Ubuntu. Next, the target is to install AWS CLI. How to install CLI? We install AWS CLI. Just click on this one, enter. So software is already installed in my machine. If the software is not installed in your machine, it will be installed. So exit. Next, go to Ubuntu. Ubuntu. After going to Ubuntu, what you can do is you can mention AWS. AWS, it is asking help. So we have a lot of comments. AWS version I want to check. Version we can check here. And so I want to access the buckets in AWS using CLI commands, but I don't have access. I don't have access. I will check once AWS S3 LS. I have access already, but I will show you how to set up the access. So I will release the access now, so that you can understand what kind of error we get here. So rm dot now I am not able to get the buckets from AWS CLI. Now I will show you the setup how to do that. How to connect to AWS CLI. How to connect to AWS CLI by using IAM roles. First, I want to create IAM user and download the credentials. By using that credentials, I will connect from this mission, Ubuntu mission to AWS buckets. I have data in AWS. I want to create. So first I will delete the files. We have. I will close unwanted things. So if I want to open S3, what I will do is S3. Right click, open. I will check. I have two buckets here. I will delete this one. Just I will empty. Whenever if you don't use anything, just delete them. Because practice purpose, if you upload the files accidentally, so you will be charged. So we have two buckets. So I will go to this bucket. So nothing is there actually. We have bucket name, we have folder name. So I want to access these buckets. I want to access these buckets. How to access these buckets? We need to establish the connection between PowerShell, sorry, Ubuntu to this. Ubuntu means that is local mission to AWS environment. Using CLI, if you want to access from our local Ubuntu mission to our AWS account, we need to set up the connection between them. How to set up the connection? Very first. So here when I have used AWS CLI commands, credentials are not working. I will show you how to set up now. First, go to go to IAM user. If I want to, IAM is a service like S3. S3 is a service. EMR is a service. This is a global search bar. If you want to check any kind of services, just you can go to here, and if you want to use the Lambda service, you can get the Lambda. If you want to use the S3, you can go to and click here. If you want to use Glue, you can use Glue. If you want to use Athena, you can just in search bar just mention Athena. If you want to use Redshift data warehouse, you can click on this Amazon Redshift. If you want to use IAM, 1 minute. Now I will take help from IAM and I want to create IAM user here. So in search bar, what I have to do, I have to mention IAM. If I mention, you can see the IAM service. Just I will click on this one, right click on this one and open in new tab. In IAM user, after logging into this mission, I went to IAM user. So there is a option called users. There is a option called users. In left side, there is a option called users. I will click on this users. I will click on these users. I want to create new user. I want to create new user. AWS demo 1. I want to create new user. So just you can mention the username that you want to use. Just click on next. So here add user to group. No need to do that. No need to do that. Actually attach the policies directly. So the policies that we want. So we need administrator access. We need administrator access. Just only mention this one. So for practice purpose only, I have mentioned administrator access actually because I am accessing my files to show you how to set up the connection. So that's why I used administrator access. In real time, if you want to, if you don't want to provide administration access, just you can provide required accesses like read access, write access. So we have a lot of, so if you see here, right, so it will get all permissions in all admin permissions we have here. So since I am accessing my files, I have given administrator access. In real time, we should not give administrator access to everyone. So click next. After I have chosen required for access policies and I have created, I am going to create user. So now AWS demo 1 user is created. We have two users now. So one user is created by me just now. That is AWS demo 1. So if you want to get the tokens, go to security credentials. You can go to credentials and what you can do is you can create access keys. You can create access key. Where do you want to give the access keys? I need to use using command line interface. So I will click here. I will click here. I understood the recommendations and click on next. Use for practice. Create access key. So we have multiple ways to get this access. One is using by copying these two. You can copy in, you can keep it in your notepad or somewhere. So else you can download this one. I am going to download this one. Done. I'll click on done. So credentials are downloaded. So we get access token and secret access key. So let me open that file. Sorry, it is downloaded under downloads. Just now it is downloaded. Now we can see access key ID and secret access key. By taking these two credentials, by taking these two keys, we can establish the connection between our local machine to AWS. So Let me log in again. I go to Ubuntu. I opened Ubuntu. In this Ubuntu, I will try to do CLI, AWS CLI, LS. Sorry, I want to communicate S3. Yes. So connection is not established because we are unable to locate credentials. You need to configure credentials by running AWS configure. So what we have to do? We have to mention AWS configure. Just to click on this one. You need to provide access key ID and secret access key, which we have downloaded. First, I need to give this access key ID. So just we need to mention. Just click. It is asking secret access key. We need to provide this secret access key. Just click on this one. So it is asking about the reason. So if you don't want to choose any reason, you want to prefer with default reason, just you can click on enter. Default output. Here also just click on enter. So your access key ID and secret access key both are saved with the name of none. With the name of none. Profile. This is the profile name. So we haven't chosen any profile here. It will stored under default. So I want to check the connection between our Ubuntu mission to AWS now. AWS S3 LS. Now connection is established. We can see the buckets. You can see the buckets. Now I want to check the folders under this bucket. How do I check? AWS S3 LS Suha. So first we need to give some prefix because we are going to connect with S3, right? S3 colon slash slash Suha data lake prod test. We have Suren folder. Suren folder. No files found in Suren folder because there is no files. So this is the way we need to establish the connection from Ubuntu to AWS. Next the thing is, so by default it is a profile name is none here. By default profile name is none. So I want to set up for a particular profile, only specific profile I want to set up the connection. What I can do is, I will check list ltr space hyphen AWS. So credentials are stored in credentials folder. If I want to check what kind of credentials are stored with which profile name, AWS, sorry, cat dot AWS dot. Now you can see the credentials. So just we have saved access key ID and secret key ID in with default user. We haven't mentioned any profile name. That's why it is stored under default. So I don't want to give the credentials default. I want to use for only specific profile. Specific profile. I want to create a new profile to store the credentials. How do I store the credentials? AWS configure configure. I am going to store the credentials for only specific profile. We need to mention profile. Profile name is demo profile. Click enter. Now it is asking access key ID and a secret key ID. First I am going to save access key. Now secret access key I am going to paste. So in this default region name, no need to do anything. By default, it will take default options. Now, if you want to check, what we have to do, add AWS credentials. So here you can see. So one is default profile, another one is demo profile. So earlier I haven't mentioned anything when I am going to configure. So that's why it stores under default. Next time when I want to give, I have I have stored the data, I have stored the keys in specific profile name. So that's why it's stored under demo profile. So what I will do now, I want to release the access to all users and I want to create only for specific profile. So I am going to release all the credentials. So I want to check whether connection is established for this particular profile. How to check? AWS S3 LS hyphen profile hyphen demo profile. So for this profile is having access. So what if I want to release the access? If I want to release the access, how should I mention? RM dot AWS dot slash credentials. We lose the credentials. How to check whether we are able to access S3 files or not? Just this is the command. AWS S3 LS. Now we don't have proper credentials to use because just now we have deleted this one. If I want to create only for a specific profile, I don't want to give uh, access to all. I want to give access to only one profile. So if I want to give only one profile, AWS configure hyphen profile demo profile. We must give this access key ID. Next, we must give secret access key. So again, it is asking default region name. No need to mention. No need to mention. Just click on both. So now we whether we get the access or not, just we can check AWS S3 LS. Connection is not established because we have not given access key and secret key for default user. Just we have given the access to specific profile name, that is demo profile name. I want to check by using that profile name. How to check? AWS S3 LS hyphen profile demo. So when you check for default user, default profile, we are not able to locate credentials. You can configure credentials by running AWS config. It is suggesting us to configure the credentials since we don't have access. Now we have access for specific profile. If we use that specific profile, we are able to fetch the buckets from AWS S3. Yeah. So AWS command CLI commands connection is done. So next topic is create virtual environment for AWS project. So I have covered create virtual environment for CLI commands. Now create a virtual environment for AWS project by using boot03. So now I will show you. So this is the final topic, I think. Yeah. So create the virtual environment for AWS projects. So till here I have covered create Python in virtual environment for AWS project. How to do that? So I will close this one. So I will open Ubuntu again. I want to create one folder. I want to create one folder. I want to create virtual environment in specific folder. I want to create virtual environment for specific folder. There is a folder already. Otherwise, I will create where I am currently. Sorry, PWD. Currently, I am under /home/Surendra. So I want to create new folder. I want to check list of files. We have projects. I will go to projects. Uh, MKDIR. I want to create demo V demo. I want to create one folder called demo VNV. I will go here virtual environment. No folder is created. We have empty folder here. So in this folder, I want to create virtual environment. How do I create virtual environment? Python 3 -m virtual environment with environment name. So virtual environment is created. If you want to check, find. So virtual environment is created here. You can see the list of packages that we have. Virtual environment is created here. Next, I want to check ls-ldr. Now we can see in virtual environment, we can see the files and folders that we have. So I want to see the source /bin/activate. This virtual environment, in the bin folder, I am entering the activate. I am activating this one. So now we are under this specific virtual environment. So in this environment, I want to install Boto 3 because I want to install Boto 3. After installing Boto 3, I can communicate with S3 by using programming language like Python. If I want to access the files in S3, we need to use Boto 3 service. Sorry, Boto 3 library. So first I want to import Boto 3. Sorry, we need to go to Python first. After we went to Python, we need to import Boto 3. No module named Boto 3 because it is not installed. It is not installed. What you can do? What you can do? You have to install Boto 3. I will come back. So in this here, I want to install Boto 3 because libraries is used to get the files from S3 service. Not only S3 service, it can communicate with any services in AWS. So Boto 3 library is being installed now. Yeah, Boto 3 is installed. I will go to Python now. Now I am going to import Boto 3. Now we are successfully importing Boto 3. Suppose if I want to communicate with S3, so just before entering to this virtual environment, I have established the connection using AWS CLI. Now using programming language, I want to connect with AWS. So I need to write a program like this. AWS client equals to, by taking the help from Boto 3, we need to establish the connection. So here just to mention the service that you want. If you want to communicate with Lambda service, you can use Lambda. To communicate with Glue, you can mention Glue. If you want to communicate with Secret Manager, you can mention Secret Manager. If you want to communicate with EMR, if you want to communicate with Redshift. Any services that you want to communicate, just you can mention that service. But I want to communicate with S3. Just you can mention S3. Just click on this one. So I want to check the list of buckets that we have. S3 client, sorry, S3 client dot list buckets. Unable to locate credentials. I think we need to provide the credentials. Let's jump into. So here we need to configure AWS. After we providing this configuration, you will get the access. Now we get the buckets, right? So I will go to Python and I will write the code in programming language to access these files. So I am importing Boto3. I am writing Python code to connect S3 service Boto3.client. I am mentioning the service that I want to connect. I want to connect S3. So next S3 client dot list buckets. Yeah, now we get the response. In this response, you can see the name of the bucket. One of the bucket name is this one. Another one is uh, so another one is like here we have. If you want to expand bit more, you can mention. If you want to take only names, right? So you can mention buckets. Now you get the list of buckets that you have. So first bucket is Databricks Workspace Stack 10407 bucket. This is the one of the bucket. Another bucket is like Suha Data Lake Protest. So we are able to fetch. The thing is, you need to configure. There is a simple command AWS configure. After configuring this one, just you need to mention key ID and access PID, which is generated in IAM user. So after establishing this connection, you connect using AWS CLI, and you can connect from programming language like Python. You can use Java also to connect to that. Since I am familiar with Python, so I am going to tell you how to connect from Python to using Python from local Ubuntu to our AWS environment. So this is the one of the way to connect. So usually we don't write the code here for practice purpose, like for developing purpose. Just I explained here. So real time, right? So you can use Databricks to connect with any services to get the files. You can so data science people might use Jupyter. They might use Databricks notebooks. They might use Jupyter notebooks. So in this setup, right? So I will show you how to set up Jupyter Lab as well. So after creating Jupyter and how to fetch the files using programming language. So I will come out here. I want to create Jupyter. So I want to install Jupyter software here. I want me to mention pip install Jupyter Lab. I will click enter. So Jupyter is being installed now. Once Jupyter is installed, you can use in our web browser. So there usually we do create notebooks and there we can write the code. So there we can write Python code to here it is completed. So Python like Jupyter Lab is completed. So if you want to open the Jupyter Lab, what should I mention? JUPY here Jupyter space lab. If you want to launch this Jupyter, yeah. So it started launching. What you can do? You can just copy from here. You can paste in web browser. So just click on press button after opening new tab. Just the paste URL which we have copied just now. I am copying the the URL from here. From here I am pasting here. Click on this one. We are able to launch Jupyter Notebook. I want to create new notebook. So after clicking this one, Jupyter Notebook is created. Jupyter Notebook is created. I want to rename this Jupyter Notebook. Just right click. Just click on rename. Demo. Demo notebook. So notebook name has been changed. Here it is similar to Databricks notebooks. There also we can write Python code. Here also we can write Python code. So here I want to test whether it is working or not. Just I want to execute sample code. So it is working fine. Now I want to check from here to AWS whether we are able to fetch the list of buckets or not. So real time, right? We don't use these Linux missions to write the programming languages because we might need to write hundreds of lines. So we will prefer any tools like PyCharm, Visual Studio Code, or we will prefer writing the notebooks like Qball notebooks, Jupyter notebooks. We'll prefer the write the code in Databricks notebooks. So, so just I am explaining how to connect from here to there. First, I need to import Booto 3. By using Booto 3 only, we do fetch the files. Not only files, we can connect to any service. So I want to create. I want to connect to S3 now. S3 client Booto 3 dot client. So here just to mention the service that you want. I want to connect to Lambda service. Just we can mention Lambda. So now I want to connect to S3. Just mention S3. Okay, click on this one. Next, I want to see the response. I want to see the response of this. So you get this one. When are you going to execute this one? Just you get this one. You get the response like this. You get the response like this. On top of this one, I want to check the list of buckets. We get the response like this. Buckets that you want to check. Dot list buckets. List buckets of you want to get the names of that buckets. Just click on this one. Now you get the list of bucket names and creation date when it has been created. You want to get only bucket names instead of creating date everything. Just you want to get the list of bucket names that you want to see. Uh, get bucket names list. What is the type of this one? List, I think. So this is the list. List is having dictionary. So the type is list. I want to take only name. If I want to take only bucket names, what I have to do is I need to apply list comprehension. Uh, item bucket name bucket under we have what we have dictionary. Dictionary is having name and creation date. I want to take only name for bucket in bucket. Now you can see two bucket names. So that means we have access from this Jupyter notebook to AWS account, AWS S3. So one of the key thing is just we need to configure the credentials like we need to provide access key and secret access key whenever you are configuring using AWS configure. Very simple step. Just to mention AWS configure, then you need to give access key and secret access key. Both you need to give. Then it will be saved in default user. After entering those details, we are able to access to our S3 buckets. So far the topics are covered in this session. Let me. So just now I have explained how to set up Jupyter Lab and validate the Boot23 whether we are able to access or not. So in class 5, all topics has been covered. Okay, we can wind up the session now. Okay, thanks for watching. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends as well. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you can never notify. So you get notified whenever I upload videos. You have got a lot of exciting content coming up and you won't want to miss. And join the Mr. Techie Talks community and let's continue learning together. See you in the next video. Thank you guys.